Here it goes, the next episode of Guilty Pleasure Reviews. Today we are reviewing, we are judging, we are breaking down the movie Her Deadly Groom. This movie was released back in 2020. I didn't realize it was released that long ago. I just saw it on the calendar, so I decided to review it. But as soon as it started, I could tell it was kind of not really dated, but you could tell it's not 2025 just by the quality of the camera work and all that stuff. And it's 1 hour, 37 minutes, directed by Jared Kahn, I believe that's the way you say it, starring Kate Watson as Allison. That's our main. We have Michael, I don't even know how to say his last name, Dvorzan as Vincent Black. We also have Eric Roberts as George. Eric Roberts, I've seen him in a lot of things. He's been around doing his thing for a long time. We have Kelly Erin Decker as Brenna. We have Elise Cantor as Nikki. Then we have Jacob Michael as Jake. All right, let's get into this. This lady, her name is Allison. She's freshly divorced, living in her ex-husband's house with their daughter. And it starts off, she's going down the street. She's carrying some boxes for her business that she's trying to start with her friend. And she meets this guy named Vincent just out the blue. She kind of runs into him and they kind of say hi and bye. And there's not really too much more to it. And so she goes on about her business. Later on, she goes home and meets up with her friend Brenna, and Brenna convinces her to sign up for a dating app. And she's like, nah, I don't want to do it. But she ends up doing it anyway. So that's how that starts. Now, while all this going on, there's somebody outside her house taking pictures, just like kind of spying on her. So I'm trying to figure out, just at the beginning, like they're not really giving any clues as to why is this person sneaking and taking pictures of her in her house. So that was kind of strange, but interesting. Like I said, her ex-husband, George, he still owns the house. So he just pops in and out whenever you want. And he's kind of coming into the house and they're making it look like he's coming in there to do something nefarious. But then we find out shortly that it's actually his house. So he's kind of like just popping in and out whenever you want. And she's not too happy about it. And of course, he's throwing it in her face like, hey, this ain't your house. I'm letting you stay here right now out of the kindness of my heart, but hey, I can come and go as I please. I ain't cool with that, but hey, it is what it is. So Brenna convinces her to keep the dating app up, even though she doesn't want to. So she keeps it up for like about a week, and they get together and they go to looking through the dating app, and she sees the guy, Vincent, the guy that she ran into on the street when she was carrying those boxes. She happened to see him on a dating app, and she tells, Allison tells Brenna like, oh, I met this guy, I know this guy. She ended up talking to the guy, whatever, and come to find out while he's talking to her, he has like all her information out. He's been like stalking her. He's been trying to bump into her. He's pretty much been trying to get her attention so he can get into her life. And so they start connecting on the app or whatever, and then they go out on a date. And well, one thing this movie does good, it does show a lot of time progressing really good. They let you know, okay, a month passed, 2 months passed, 6 months passed. Because a lot of times with these movies, a lot of stuff happens in a real short period of time and it seems so unrealistic. But in this movie, they show you the progress of time really well. I give him that. That was pretty nice. So yeah, he knows everything about her, and he's actually living in an apartment or a house of someone that he ended up murdering. This dude's straight up a killer. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the first shot of the movie, he's hanging out with his girlfriend, his current girlfriend, Vincent, and he straight up pushes her down, a cliff. And so right off the bat, they showing us that this guy is not playing. This guy is a killer. He ain't playing around. And then they soon show us he's in an apartment using somebody else's computer and everything as of somebody that he killed, or another person that he killed. So this guy straight up and killed 2 people in this movie so far. And you could tell he's been doing this for a long time. And so he's like pretty much got all her information. He's trying to tell her everything that she wants to hear. And so they're actually getting along pretty good. He's a great actor in this movie that doesn't have great acting. Interesting. So one evening, Vincent comes over and he finally meets her daughter, Allison's daughter, Nikki, and her boyfriend, Jake. And Jake's kind of looking at him like, you look kind of familiar, but he couldn't really put his finger on it. And Vincent's like, nah, you don't know me, but he kind of doesn't feel too good about it. It feels like he knows him, but he just kind of blows it off, and they go about their business. But Jake he's kind of suspicious. So come to find out, Allison's and Brenner, their new business they're trying to establish is not doing that well. And Vincent asks her how much money would it take to, get the business going the way you would like. And she says $50,000. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to help you with that. And I'm like, wow, I don't know where you're going to get this money from. I don't know how you're going to pull it off, but I guess he knows what he's doing. So he puts $50,000 into their business. I'm like, okay, Vincent, do your thing, you little scammer. Now, by him becoming an investor in the business, he figures out a way to represent the business where he takes it to an insurance company and he puts a $2 million insurance policy on Allison. And she has no idea about it because he's an investor and he's a scammer. He pulled that off. So right now, okay, we're seeing, okay, this guy is straight up trying to get his claws in this lady and he wants to get closer and then have her die and then he gets the $2 million. So that's the scam we're seeing right now. And then some time passes and out of the blue, her husband, George, her ex-husband, George, he said, I want my house back. And she's like, what the hell, George? You said we could live in here this amount of time and all of a sudden you want the house back? What is going on? So in the midst of all that drama, Allison and Nikki, they need a place to live. And so Vincent offers his house that he doesn't have. He said, hey, you can come live with me. I'll take care of you. I'll make sure y'all are good. So just go ahead on and, come in with me. And she takes the offer because, it's been some time that's passed and they're getting along good. But the catch is, dude ain't got no house. So he has this realtor lady that he's messing with or whatever. And by the way, the transition from him, hugging and kissing on Vincent, hugging and kissing on Allison, to the transition of him with the realtor. Oh, that was gangster. That was a cool transition. I was like, man, that's cold. That's cold-blooded. Anyway, while he's with that lady at this big, beautiful $1 million home, he steals the key and then he gets the code and she doesn't realize it. And as soon as she leaves the house, the realtor, he's inviting Allison, her daughter, and Jake to the house, acting like it's his house and they're moving in. They're so impressed. At the same time, Jake is like, man, I don't know what's going on. And then like a couple of days later, or later than that same day, I'm not sure, the realtor shows back up like, dude, who the hell are these people in my house? What's going on? Why you have these people in my house? And she comes busting in the house. And then Allison's like, who is this lady? What's going on? What's the problem? And he's like, oh, I'll take care of it. So he kind of follows the realtor outside and he's telling her like, hey, I decided I'm going to get the house. She's like, nah, you be BSing me. I bet that lady don't even know this is not your house. You played me. What, did you steal a key when we were together? She's pissed. And he's like, nah. And he's like, no, relax. We're going to work it out. And she's like, no, I'm going to go tell her right now. Now, this is broad daylight. This dude grabs her from behind and he just snaps her neck. I'm like, oh man, that's body number 3 in this movie. This guy is ruthless. Snaps her neck right down on the spot, puts her in the back of her car. And then as he's loading her in the car, he sees she has a nice little ring on. So he pulls her ring off. This dude is diabolical. And so he just leaves all of a sudden. So later on that day, he comes back to the house and Allison's upstairs and he comes up there and he's like, you know what? I love you and I think we should get married. And this dude straight up proposes to her at the house with the dead realtor's ring. Diabolical. Man, I'm like, this is a real Lifetime villain right here. I'm loving it. He's doing everything we're supposed to be seeing. He's doing it. So in the meantime, while all this going on, her ex-husband, George, he keeps calling, trying to, I guess, get back with her, trying to fix things, all that, he's trying to be better and all that stuff. Vincent is witnessing George calling, trying to get back with Allison. So he's kind of like, damn, you sure y'all are good? Are y'all over? So he's kind of worried about that a little bit. This is where we kind of get a little twist. I said that Vincent has noticed that George has been calling, trying to get back with Allison. And so all of a sudden, we see Vincent going to George's house, breaking in. And George is like, what the hell are you doing here? I didn't hire you to come over here and harass me, you know, something like that or whatever. And he's like, we're like, what? George hired Vincent. Apparently, George wanted Vincent to sweep Allison off her feet for them to get married so he won't have to pay alimony anymore. Then after the marriage, after that's all settled, then they can get an annulment and George will pay Vincent a certain amount for doing this. And then, like I said, George wouldn't have to pay alimony anymore. But George doesn't know that Vincent turned around and took out a $2 million policy on Allison. So he got bigger plans now. And then George is like confronting him saying, hey man, you can't do this. You know, this is not right. And so at this point, Vincent starts threatening George. And he's like, dude, if you kill me, it's going to be obvious. The cops are going to put it together that you did this. Because Vincent is like, okay, if this guy dies, then Allison gets all his money. Then when Allison dies, he gets all Allison's money if they're married. Damn, Vincent just greedy, diabolical, just trying to do too much, man. You got to keep it simple in your evil deeds, man. And Vincent like, damn, you're right. They will realize that I had something to do with it if I kill you. So he decided to beat him across the head and make it look like he fell and drinking and hit his head and died by accident. So he staged an accidental death of George. I was like, man, he killing George. I kind of like George. I wasn't really ready for him to go, but I guess he had to go because Vincent wasn't having it no other way. Dude was straight up evil. So he straight up killed him. So of course, Allison finds out that George has passed and he's all upset and Vincent is pretending like he's upset. And they end up, over time, they end up getting married. She ended up getting married to this killer, to this scandalous killer. And at their reception, something happens where Brenna, Allison's best friend, has to go upstairs to get her phone. And she accidentally finds Vincent's phone. And in Vincent's phone, she sees that there's evidence of an insurance policy of $2 million on Allison. And Brenna's like, you know, she's in the room by herself like, what the hell? This doesn't make sense. He took this out months ago. That was when they first got together. That wouldn't make sense. And so she writes down the policy number on his phone. Now, while she's doing all this, behind her is Vincent. He done crept up there and like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just trying to find Allison's phone. And he's like, oh, look like you got my phone. She's like, oh, silly mistake. I don't know how I did that. And so they like having like a little confrontation. Like she knows that something ain't right because she saw the policy. And he knows that she may know. And so he's like, okay, I got to do something because she's going to spill the beans. And so while she's walking back out of the room upstairs, they get to the top of the stairs and he does this evil shit. He knocks her clean down the stairs. She goes to tumbling. And next thing you know, she's passed out on the floor with her eyes open. Now, usually when people are knocked out with their eyes open, that means they're dead. But apparently she got concussed and knocked out. And shortly after that, the daughter Nikki finds her and she gets rushed to the hospital. I'm like, there's so much death and destruction going on around these people. It's like the husband just died. Now the best friend is going to the hospital. It's like, good Lord, all this craziness going on. So that should be a red flag right there to any detectives. But hey, we like the drama, so we're gonna keep it going. So Brenna is in a coma. She's the only one that has the information for sure, but she's knocked out of the picture. So we still got little Jake over there. This is Allison's daughter's boyfriend. Jake, he's suspicious. At this point, after George died, Vincent decides to move into the house. They decide to move into George's house together just to keep Nikki in the same living space. They wanted to keep things simple for her. Plus, he ain't own that house anyway, so that's the real reason why he can't live with him. But he has like the insurance paperwork, he has it in a file cabinet that's locked up. And this whole time, Jake is like, side-eyeing him, just kind of waiting for an opportunity to sneak in his office and look up information. And he gets that chance and he finds the actual document of the insurance policy. And he's like, oh shit. And so while he's doing this, Vincent suspects that he found it. So he's like, okay, I need to do something about this. So he decides to drug the kid. Now, what I didn't say earlier is that Jake previously had a drug problem. It's been years ago, but you know, he's messed with some heavy drugs. And so Vincent knows this. So he decided to drug his ass at dinner. And so at dinner, Jake takes his medicine and he starts feeling all drowsy and stuff. And that's when he starts getting belligerent. Vincent, you have an insurance policy on Allison. It's some bullshit. And they all looking at him like, what the hell is wrong with you? And he's like, what are you talking about, Jake? I saw it for myself. You have an insurance. Like he's all kind of moving around because he's high as hell. Because Vincent then messed around and put some kind of drugs inside of his medication that he takes. Medication for what? I have no idea. They just put the medication in there just so he could have something to take. Maybe they mentioned it, but I don't remember it. So he's all out of it. And then he says, show us right now. And Vincent like, okay, I'll show you. So he went into the file cabinet, pulled out the insurance paper, and he took the paperwork that Jake saw earlier and he switched it with an application for insurance for himself. If something happened to him, then the mom, Allison, would get $2 million. He's like making him out to be crazy. It's like, no, I know what I saw. It was an insurance policy. It wasn't an application. And they're like, okay, dude, calm down. And so, I know, apparently you're high. So Allison gets upset and she says, Jake, you need to go home. This is too much. And the whole time, Vincent, he's cool as a cucumber. I'm like, this dude is diabolical. He is off the chain. So Jake leaves and Allison forbids Nikki from seeing Jake for a while. He needs to go to rehab. He needs to get his life together. And so she's like, she likes the kid, but she's like, I can't have this going on and he needs some help. And so Jake goes home. And while he's at home, he's like stewing. He's like, and he finally remembers where he knows this guy from, where he recognizes Vincent from. And he remembers that his dad was in and out of prison. And he got out of prison like 7 or so years ago. And when he got out, one of his prison buddies was that guy. He remembered him. He went and found a picture. He's like, that's where I know this guy from. So he called his dad. And his dad like, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. And he said his name, and his name is not Vincent. It's something else, which I'm just going to stick with Vincent. We're going to complicate things. He said, oh, man, stay away from that guy. He's no good. He's like, okay, Dad, whatever. At this point, Vincent is on his way to go and confront Jacob. He's like, okay, I need to shut this kid down. He's messing me up. So he goes to Jacob's house. And he busts in there and he starts threatening him and stuff. And they have a confrontation. And this is where the ridiculousness comes in. I guess, of course, Vincent whipping Jake's ass. He's a big man. But at one point, he's laying down and he just has his arms to his side like he can't control his arms. And he lets Vincent just stuff pills in his mouth. That shit was hilarious. Didn't make sense. But it's somebody should have tied him up at least. I mean, it's hard to make somebody swallow something, but he just sitting there getting pills stuffed in his mouth with no self-control. Well, that was kind of funny. It didn't make sense. But hey, that's what they did. So he ended up leaving to, he ended up taking, what his plan was to get Jake high and then get Jake back to his house where he can say that Jake was so upset that Allison wouldn't let him see Nikki anymore, that he got high and he went over there and killed Allison. So he was going to use Jake as a way to get rid of Allison already. Like, man, he put this plan together quicker. Like, okay, I could do this tonight. Very sloppy, Vincent. Very sloppy. You should have been patient. He gets the boy all high. He gets high real quick, apparently. That's 2 times in the same night. He should be dead or ODing or something because he put a bunch of pills in his mouth. Plus, he drugged him earlier, like an hour ago. So Jake is all twisted up. And so he loads Jake in the car, drives him back to the house, and tries to drag him in the house. And then he tries to go upstairs where Allison is. Nikki's not home, by the way. She's trying to call everybody because Jake then called and left messages. But she's not anywhere around. So Allison's upstairs in the tub, taking a long bath or whatever. Vincent comes up there and he's like, okay. In his head, he's like, I gotta kill Allison right now and frame Jake right now. So plans have changed fast. And so they're in the tub and they start the fighting because she realized, Allison figured out what was going on. I forgot how she figured it out. I think maybe Nikki called her or she checked her phone. I figured out she figured it out. That's an excuse for you to watch the movie. But some kind of way Allison knew something was wrong. She was suspecting him to come back and do something, but she wanted to kind of play it off. And so when he got in the, I think he was getting in the tub with her, and she saw that he was about to stab her. And so she takes some oil sheen or whatever it was, some hairspray, and sprays it in his eyes. And they go to fighting. They going back and forth and all this stuff. And and the way that she deals with him is she turns on the blow dryer while he's, I guess, choking her. I forget. And she turns it on. I guess she looked like she tries to blow his face with a blow dryer. I'm like, what is she gonna do with that? And then she comes to her senses, and he's like in the tub, and she's like out of the tub. And so she throws the blow dryer in the tub with him, and he gets electrocuted, and he just lays there. I don't know how getting electrocuted works, but I don't know if it would just knock you out. If it did knock you out, it probably would kill you. And it's, it's a blow dryer, it's 120, voltage going through there. I don't know how devastating that would be for this big grown strapping man just to be knocked out in the tub. I just knew he was gonna pop back up and try to kill her, and he was gonna get stabbed again. But he's knocked out, cold, or dead in the tub. And they keep showing, I'm like, okay, he's gonna get up. He's gonna get up. Fool don't get up. And so all this going on, Jake high ass foaming at the mouth come upstairs, and Nikki, the daughter, arrives, and they're all hugging each other. And so they got him. And at this point, I'm like, okay, he's dead. I'm like thinking it's all over. And so they end up going to the hospital because Jake is about to die because he done got high like 16 times already. And so I guess he gets to the hospital and he's all right, or he's gonna be all right. And then they find out at the same time that her best friend, Brenna, she's all right. And she wakes up and everything. And then there's like a extra scene where oh boy, Vincent is still alive. I'm like, okay, that makes sense that he's still alive. I don't know why he was passed out, but it makes sense that he's still alive. And he's in jail, and he's up in jail already scamming and scheming, trying to get out, flirting with the guards, on the phone with a new woman. So that's the movie. That's pretty much how it goes. They live. I think this movie was worth the watch. I think it was pretty fun. Out of 10, I'll probably give this one probably like this one had to be like a 4. The reason being, if it's worth watching. When I say out of 10, I'm saying, is it worth watching? It has a lot of twists and turns to it, a little more than what it actually needs. This is people trying to be extra clever just because. I think it's worth a watch, but I kind of got a little bored, and I had to literally rewatch it, and I hate rewatching these movies. I had to rewatch this damn movie because it had so many little twists and turns, and I was trying to figure out, okay, who was that guy at the beginning taking pictures? So that makes my watchability for this movie kind of low because you have to pay attention. These movies supposed to be able to play in the background where you're not really giving it all your attention. If you don't give this movie all your attention, you will miss little things, and it can be a little stressful trying to figure out what the hell happened. But anyway, I give it a 4 when it comes to should I watch it or not, out of 10. So a little less than half out of 10. 5, definitely, you go either way, but 4 is like, yeah, unless you not, if you're gonna not pay attention, don't watch it. Pay attention to this movie, else you'll miss some things. Anyway, that is my guilty pleasure review for Her Deadly Groom. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.